Welcome to the Fenway Focus. This is episode 12 of the Fenway Focus. I'm Jason. I'm here with Derek, and we have a special midweek show. Not really special, but we're gonna make it special. So, Derek, how's it going? And how was the game on Wednesday? I'll just start with that.
It was great. Actually, because the Red Sox won. I am not a curse. They've won 3 in a row with me at Fenway. Maybe it was just the Orioles that are a curse. I don't know. Maybe that was the thing. Maybe it wasn't me. Maybe it was the Orioles. But yes, they've won 3 in a row with me at Fenway, so I'm happy about that. Um, Obviously, 2 out of 3 series prediction, right? Again, obviously I know you picked that too, but
You
I
copied.
wasn't gonna
Actually, I
shy away
copied
from
you.
it.
I copied
Yeah,
you. Whatever.
dub copying.
Shut up.
Just
But
like in
anyways,
school. Just like in school. I'm joking. I'm joking.
no,
Don't
you're not.
copy other people's work in school.
Yep, Derek's a victim of that, as you just heard. So.
I probably am a victim. You know how many people probably could have done well with copying my work in high school?
How many people? They would
A
have
lot
done
of
well
them.
with copying your work?
Yeah.
Shocker. Woo. Just kidding.
I just called myself smart, basically. That went over your head.
I'm aware. I'm aware, dude. Okay, let's go on to recap of this series. I think last time we went general prediction or general recap, but let's go game by game today because I think we woke up and we said, yeah, let's recap game by game. So I'll start with game 1 and 3, or I'll start game 1, then I'll hand it over to Derek because he was at game 2, then I'll do game 3. So game 1, Red Sox won 4-0. A beautiful pitching performance by Cooper Criswell. 5 innings pitched, just 2 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Definitely his best start of the season, considering what he was brought over to do. Giving 5 quality innings, pretty solid. I mean, I would have wanted him to go 6, but hey, they maximized his ceiling of the game. They got him to go 5, and then Bernardino came in, Weister came in, Kelly came in, then the best reliever on the Red Sox, Justin Slayton, came in and closed out the game. Didn't get the save, obviously, because they were up by 4, but yeah, solid batting day. They got 1 run in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, and 1 in the 4th inning. Duran had a great game, had 3 hits. Abreu had 3 hits. Ref Snyder had 2 hits. Pretty solid game for them. Garrett Cooper had a very big scare. He got hit on the hand, but the Red Sox avoided a major injury there, thankfully for them. Then for the Giants, they just didn't have a great day. Only 4 hits. Solid win for the pitching side. Hitting, I wouldn't call this a good all-around win. I'd actually call game 2 a good all-around win, but I'll toss it over to Derek. Oh yeah, by the way, Logan Webb, the Sox. It was a great. It was not a great outing, I should say, for Logan Webb. The ace of the pitching staff only went 3 2/3 innings, 9 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, just 4 strikeouts. No, he's not really that big of a strikeout guy, but still, they got the ace. They didn't even last 4. So I'll hand it over to Derek for game 2. What are your thoughts, your opinions? What did you witness? And tell us about a little bit more about your experience.
Well, Red Sox, they did win game 2, 6-2. Overall, I mean, the offense was outside of Connor Wong. It was, all right. It wasn't like no one outside. I mean, Wong went 3 for 4, a couple doubles. One of his doubles looked like it was might have been a home run. So I was sitting in center field where it hit off the monster. It literally hit off like the red line. At least that's what it looked like from where I was sitting. I thought at first actually it was a homer, but I thought it might have been a homer at first. But obviously, no one was acting like it was a homer. But like my brain thought it was like, ooh, that might have been a homer. But there was like no crew chief review or anything, so it's just like, it's just a double, whatever. Then Devers had a hit and also a walk. Duran reached base 3 times with a single and 2 walks. Abreu reached base twice, 1 for 3 with a walk. And Dom Smith made his Red Sox debut, going 1 for 4 with an RBI as well. And then it was really the Cutter Crawford show. Seven innings pitched, just gave up 4 hits. Did give up the 2 earned, but you take that. With 6 strikeouts and just 2 walks. Um, Cutter was smooth as butter, as Tom Karen might say, because his autocorrect hates him. Just like autocorrect hates me sometimes. Probably hates all of us at times. Uh, but so Cutter Crawford was solid. Chris Martin, bounce back game for him after the kind of blow up he had. Went strong 8th inning, and then they brought in Greg Weissert for the ninth as they were up 4. I thought there was a chance they might use Kenley. Kenley was throwing weighted balls in the bullpen, but he ended up sitting down, and Weissert warmed up, and they used Weissert considering it was 6-2, which was weird to me that Kenley was throwing weighted balls in the bottom of the 8th if there was no chance he was going to be used, because the only way he would have been used was if Weissert gave up anything. But like, then maybe you would think you'd start doing that like after the bottom of the 8th, or
Well,
I don't
because
know.
if he got into trouble, then you have to start warming up Jansen to
Yeah,
get
but
you
at
out
the
of the
same
jam.
time, like I don't think you would start but he started like right at the end of like the top of the 8th. It was like it wasn't like he started like with like 2 outs in the bottom. Like he was like it was like early in the bottom of the 8th when he was doing it, and it was like, is he gonna get? I think he might have actually started in the top of the 8th even. Like it was early when he was doing it. It was like, that seems early, at least to me. It seemed early. I'm like, he's not gonna pitch, right? And I'm like, maybe they will, but he ended up sitting down. Weissert warmed up, and then Weissert went in. Uh, Overall, solid game. It was really the Cutter show, like I said. Jungwoo Lee looked impressive, which was nice to see. It was a he was one of the guys I definitely wanted to see this series. Obviously, him coming over from the KBO. Um, I think, like I said, he looked impressive. He didn't have like any like massive plays, but he looked comfortable. Didn't really have any issues at the plate in terms of like didn't like any no significant issues or anything. Looked solid in the outfield. So overall, like that was fun. The only guy I wish I saw was Jordan Hicks, but he's starting this weekend for them. Because I'm a big Jordan Hicks guy, so it's kind of sad to see him not pitch. Although a little bit scary because he has been really good this year, so there's that. So, but it would have been nice to see him pitch. But overall, game 2, Red Sox win 6-2, and overall, I had a fun time, and yeah, 7 innings for Crawford. Can't complain. First time ever going 7 innings for him. So nice to see as well. Jason, what are your thoughts on game 3?
It was a game 3. It was a weird stat line for the starter Harrison. Goes 5 innings pitched, gives up just 3 hits, 1 earned run, 5 walks, and 7 strikeouts. Like that's one of the weirder pitching lines I've seen this season. I've seen definitely weirder in my career, I guess. But like 5 walks, if a opposing pitcher is giving up 5 walks, he should be scoring at least 3 runs. That's not the case. The Sox had some opportunities, but went 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position, which is not ideal. Left 7 men on base, including the bases loaded in the first inning, so not ideal there. Yeah, just a bullpen lockdown for the Giants. The Red Sox didn't have a hit after the 6th inning, which is bad. But I think this is headlined on the Red Sox side. Zach Kelly had his worst outing of the year. He gave up the go ahead runs in the 6th inning too. 4 hits for him, 2 earned runs. Not he's looked good, but this is one of those like, okay, you're not gonna have you're not gonna be perfect all year long. So here's I guess a little hiccup in the road. Then Uwasawa came and pitched 2 solid innings, looked good. I don't know if that's sustainable, but Cambuser also had a good appearance. So did Bernardino. Winkowski was solid. No strikeouts for him in 4 1/3 innings. So yeah, that's a little interesting too. But overall, you can't win them all. So it sucks to lose the final game. Kind of morale's a little down. But hey, you took the series. You took 2 out of 3. I think that's a win. And the fact that the Sox are 18-14 is pretty good, I think. Anything to add, Derek?
Yeah, if only it wasn't for that first homestand. If only.
If
Got Orioles and Cleveland, the two best teams in the American League record wise, and then the Angels. Like they're like not even that. Like after the Guardians series, that homestand, they were what 1-7 was it?
something like
Uh,
that.
or was it 1-6? Sorry, 1-6. They were 1-6. Because they went 2-1 against the Angels. They finished homestand 3-7. So they were 1-6 against the Orioles and Guardians. Jason, if they didn't have to play the Orioles and Guardians to take those games out, they're 17-8.
If you take
Now you
out
have to
if you take out
you have
every loss, they're 18-0. Just saying.
shut up, shut up. If you take out 1 week of the season,
Yeah, no, it's
like I
true.
said, they're seven. They're but like that, and I say that because that's how fast a season can change, can flip on its head.
Right.
Um, because the Red Sox could this next week have a really good week. Heck, they were coming into today. They're only 2 games behind Baltimore, and they were only I think or something like that. Um, so they could go on a 6-1 stretch the next week or so, and now they're right up at first place maybe. Or
Yeah.
they could go like 1-6 in the next 7 games and be back where like the Blue Jays and Rays are, near
Exactly.
at the bottom of the division. And that's why I say that in terms of like, yeah, 1 week can legitimately make a difference, especially this early in the season, because the better start you get off to, I'm gonna compare this to the Houston Astros right now. The Houston Astros are not in a good situation. Doesn't mean they can't make the playoffs. They're the Houston Astros. Will they figure it out? Probably. But they'd be in a much better situation if they were 20-10 instead of being 10-20, right?
Right.
And I think
Exactly.
and that's how you have to look at if like you're the Red Sox. Yeah, 18-14 is like it's nice, but like if those 7 games, if you go 3-4 instead of 1-6, now you're 20-12 and you're right there with the Orioles. Or if you go 4-3, then you're 21-11, right? Like I just say that in terms of like 1 week can legitimately make the difference right now in terms of being in first place or being in last place. So this next kind of stretch for the Red Sox is important. This next month is important. They're going to be
Yep.
playing the Rays for the first time this
They're
season.
gonna play the
That's
more of the division now.
yeah, exactly. And getting into June, they'll play the Yankees for the first time. So like it's going to be very important for the Red Sox to be able to show up and especially against teams in their division. Um, but even the good teams around baseball, like you gotta at the very least 500 against them. No 1-6, 2-5. Like at least try and be 500 against those teams, right? And I think that's kind of where they need to look because if you can beat up on the bad teams, which they have this year for the most part, then you don't need to kill the good teams. But if it's like last year when they couldn't beat the bad teams, they had to beat the good teams, and that can only last for so long. So I think then I think next week when we back on the midweek show next week, I think either it could be a similar outlook, could be in third place, whatnot, or it could be a totally different outlook, on the season after the next week. So I think this next like stretch of weeks is going to be very important for the Red Sox.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You do make a good point there. Is it going to be 2022 where you can win a series against a divisional opponent till August, or is it going to be you can play well against the division? We'll see. Um, Time's going to tell. But let's go to previewing the Twin Series this weekend. May the 4th be with you on Saturday. Yeah, I just want to say that.
Did you
Uh,
just want to say May the 4th be with you?
May the 4th be with everybody.
Also, I do want to bring up actually real quick too before we move on from just on that point. This month, the Red Sox play the Twins, the Braves, the Nationals, the the Rays, the Cardinals, the Rays, Milwaukee, Baltimore, and Detroit to close out the month. And then they play Atlanta in their second series of June.
Yep.
Then you get the White Sox, which is like okay, but then you get Philly, Yankees, Toronto, Cincinnati, Toronto, San Diego to close until the end of June. Not a lot of easy games in there.
Right. So, which is important for them, like you said, to beat those good teams or the bad teams early on. Get those easy wins, so then you don't have to worry as much to beat the bad teams. But let's go on to previewing the Twin series. First game is Tanner Houck versus Chris Paddock. That game's at 8 Saturday. May the force be with you. TBD for the Red Sox, but it's going to be a bullpen game they announced versus Pablo Lopez. That's at 2 p.m. Then Sunday, another 2 p.m. start. Cooper Criswell versus Joe Ryan. Derek, I'll toss it to you. What do you have this series? Do you have your infamous 2 out of 3? Do you have something else in mind? What do you got?
This one's rough. I'm between 2 out of 3 and 1 out of 3 because with the twin, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at game 1. I like how game 2. I'm worried about a bullpen game against Pablo Lopez. Game 3 is like, are we gonna get the Cooper Criswell we've had? Which, like, against the Giants, 5 innings doesn't give up any runs, or is like Cooper Criswell gonna finally have a bad outing, right? Or is the Red Sox offense gonna hit enough? Because this offense, it is a weird offense, man. Like, sometimes they're hot, sometimes they're not,
You don't know.
and
You
it's
just never
not,
know.
and there's not necessarily a rhyme or rhythm to it. Like, one game they'll be hot, and then a couple games later they can't buy a hit. Like, they just went 17-0 on the Cubs a couple days ago, and then this series, like, yeah, you score 4, you score 6, but like in the first 2 games, and then the last game you can't buy a hit almost, especially when you need it. It's like when you get guys in scoring position, guys on base can't buy a hit. So it's really weird. There's no rhyme or rhythm to when this offense is good and when they're not. But I'm gonna stick with 2 out of 3 for this series. I have enough faith in Cooper Criswell to hopefully they win the first and third game, and I guess they lose the second game in this situation that I'm predicting. Um, the Twins aren't an easy team to play against, but I think they've had their fair share of issues as well. So,
In the win-loss column,
gonna,
they're a very similar team to you.
yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna go. I lean slightly Red Sox 2 out of 3, so I'll go there.
I'm going to ride the 2 out of 3 train until it just doesn't work. Could be this series, could be a series in June, but I'm riding 2 out of 3. If they're going to lose one game, I'm going to go the Cooper Criswell start. I don't know why. I like Cooper Criswell. I had that take for a reason, but something just tells me that Cooper Criswell's dominance can only last so long. I think they do win the bullpen game.
Yep.
I know it's Pablo Lopez, but look what we did to Logan, look what the Sox did to Logan Webb. Solid.
Yeah, but Pablo Lopez has been really good this year.
Has he?
I think so.
He has an ERA of 4.83.
Never mind. There's someone who's really good this year from, I forget who. I don't know. I have no memory. That's besides the point.
Yep. Joe Ryan has an ERA of 3.38. Then Chris Paddock has an ERA of 5.88. So, that's your series outlook. And do you want to go to news and notes or any final thoughts, I guess? Or
I confused Pablo Lopez with Jose Barrios.
really?
Yeah, one used to pitch for the Twins, one now pitches for the Twins. Close enough.
Yeah.
I knew it was both like pitchers from, Hispanic countries, like those countries and like that portion of the world, whatever that's called. Your like Venezuela, Dominican, although
Latin America.
Puerto Rico, like Latin America. Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think before we do our other stuff of the week, I think let's go through roster news, injury news. So Masataka
See
Yoshida.
ya, Dahlbeck.
I will get to that.
I'm sorry, I had to get it out.
Fine. Bobby Dahlbeck optioned, and Vaughn Grissom likely to be reinstated from the 10-day, or it's not really 10 days, but it is the 10-day in this case.
It is 10 to, yeah, but not 10.
Yeah. So he's going to be back. Oh yeah. Hello, Dom Smith. I think we talked about that too. Zach Short was acquired from the New York Mets in exchange for cash. Bailey Horn, I don't know if we talked about him last episode, but another more bullpen depth for AAA. He has options. He's a bunch of options. He's going to be solid. I think he's a lefty too. Masataka Yoshida, as I was saying before someone interrupted me, was placed on the 10-day injured list because he got hit with a pitch in hand again, so that's bad. Yeah, I
Great
think
news. Red Sox love getting hit in the hand with pitches, it seems.
Devers got hit on the hand today too.
Yeah, remember Trevor Story getting hit on the hand?
Okay. Pavetta's making a
Yeah.
start today in AAA. Worcester and Romy Gonzalez is starting a rehab assignment. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with him. Are they going to option him, or are they going to option a guy like David Hamilton? We'll see. With the addition of, I think the Zach Short trade makes it so that he doesn't have any more options, so he has to stay on the big league roster, which is kind of interesting. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on this whole injury fiasco with Yoshida going on the injured list? What are your thoughts on that? And
Well,
Vladimir Gutierrez got DFA'd. That's other news too.
yes. They should play Zach Short at shortstop for one game so we can call him Zach Shortstop.
Sure. Okay. Whatever.
Um, that's the first thing I thought of when they got him. I'm like, can he play shortstop? Um, but no. Realistically, Uh, the moves are kind of they make sense. They all do. They have Cooper and Dom Smith to play first base, so you don't need Dahlbeck for that. Zach Short can play third, so okay, you don't need Dahlbeck for third base. Okay, it makes sense to send him down. Valdez was already sent down um, for Dom Smith, and no, not for Dom Smith. Valdez was sent down for Short today. Um, Pablo Reyes was DFA for Dom Smith.
Oh yeah, Pablo
Um,
Reyes got DFA'd. Yep. That's the other
yes,
thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of roster moves going on. Or maybe Vladimir Gutierrez got DFA'd for Dom Smith, and I think, and then Garrett Cooper. It was Garrett Cooper. Pablo Reyes got DFA'd
Pablo
for.
Reyes was for Garrett Cooper, which
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah,
Initials, like, why would they DFA him when they could just send a guy down and transfer a guy like Brian Mata to the 60-day? I think they don't want to do that, because if they do that, then they're gonna have to DFA someone else when he comes back. So I think that's why
yeah,
they're kind of waiting too.
but not even. Well, I think that shows you that they're planning for Mata to be on the big league roster as well,
Yes.
which is interesting with this bullpen. As of right now, it kind of makes Boozer odd man out, but he has options. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he does.
Um, so they can just send him down, which is good too because I like Boozer a lot. It's like great person, great story, whatnot. But you gotta give Brian Mata a chance. You can't risk losing him on waivers for nothing. Give him a chance in the bullpen. Let's see what he can do. Right. Um, and this is a
Yeah.
guy in Mata who honestly, like, just they just if he can just stay healthy, it's a success right now because they just need him to stay healthy because he hasn't been able to stay healthy, and that's a move that'll come down the road. Mata's in Fort Myers getting work. He's going to start getting work, and he should be able to go on a rehab assignment in the next couple of weeks. Start a rehab assignment sometime, probably in like 2 weeks or so. So that's another one to watch out for whenever he starts rehab assignment because he'll have 30 days before they got to put him on the big league roster. Uwasawa was called up to the big leagues. As I said, Yoshida to the injured list. So much has been going on. So a lot of roster moves. A lot of them, not a lot of them. They pretty much all make sense. Here's the one thing I will say though: Craig Breslow is being active, which nice to see because I like I'll say this about Heimblum, and I said it before, not here on the Family Focus, but I've said it before. Uh, the moves Heimblum made, there was nothing wrong with them. It was never the moves he made; it was the moves he didn't make that was really his downfall. Like you could argue maybe the Yoshida story deals weren't great, but even then, like, okay, it's 2 moves out of how many moves there, like you look at a lot of the moves he made, a lot of them were good. Trading Christian Vasquez for William Abreu and Emmanuel Valdez, that's a really good move. I mean, it worked out for the Astros too, but that's like a classic win-win trade when you look at it. But like win-win trade, Red Sox, they definitely were winners of that trade too, right?
Yep.
Like a lot of the moves he made were good moves. It was just the moves he didn't make, not
Correct.
trading JD Martinez, not getting under the luxury tax, that kind of stuff. That was the moves he didn't make were killed him. Breslow's making moves that, and he's quick making moves. He's not sitting on it for a week or so and whatnot. No, move needs to be made. All right, make the move, right? So I think with that, I think that's also something that's very important to point out, and it's very nice to see as well.
No, I agree. I don't think Bloom would have gotten a Garrett Cooper or a Dominic Smith. Maybe he would have, but then
Maybe he would
he'd
have
be
gotten
gone.
Dom Smith because he was interested in 22 at the
Right.
deadline, but
Maybe
I
a
don't know
Dom
about
Smith.
Cooper.
I don't think Cooper. They
Probably
had
not
interest.
Zach Short either. Probably not Zach Short. They probably would have just kept Pablo Reyes.
They wouldn't have DFA'd Pablo Reyes.
No, they
Exactly.
would have just kept him on the.
They would
They
have
would have kept him
used.
on the big league roster, and they would have sent down like Valdez.
They wouldn't have gotten what's his name? They just got Bailey Horn. They wouldn't have gotten.
Nope.
Probably wouldn't have gotten Uwasawa. Wouldn't have
They wouldn't have
gone
gotten Gutierrez,
Gutierrez.
and as much as you could be, oh, Gutierrez is only here for like a week. Still, like, you needed big league depth. If someone would have went down, Gutierrez and Uwasawa were your only options. And if Uwasawa had gotten called up, and then another guy goes down, you need someone, right?
Or if someone goes down and Uwasawa just made a start, then you have Gutierrez,
Yeah, exactly.
and you don't need a
So,
40-man move and waste a spot.
exactly.
So it's good to
And
have
that's
depth, but it's good that the Red Sox are building up this depth again because you never know. We saw it in April. Like injuries are gonna happen. It's just unfortunate that this many have happened. So now with Yoshida hurt, now people are gonna be rotating in the DH spot. That's a little off topic, but I kind of like that. Maybe get Devers off his feet for a couple of games or O'Neill. I think
Ref
poor
Snyder
Ref
and his nine
Snyder.
toes. He's
Um,
basically playing on nine toes.
Garrett Cooper DH today, but I think that we all know why because he just got hit and he's easing back a little bit. But overall, I think Breslow has handled this better than Bloom would have. It's not a shot at, or it kind of is a shot at Bloom, but that's just my general opinion and my humble opinion. But enough of that. I think time to go to news and notes.
Whichever one you want to do first, news and note or stat of the week.
We'll do news and notes because I brought that up first. So I'll start. Mine's kind of short, but the Diamondbacks had a delay in their game on Tuesday. It wasn't your ordinary delay. It wasn't a rain delay. Wasn't a weather delay. It was a bee delay. Like a nest formed right behind home plate, and they had to call a beekeeper and come, and the game got delayed. The game got delayed so much that Jordan Montgomery wasn't able to start, and his start was pushed today, which is crazy because, like, how does that stuff even happen? Like, I understand, like, grounds crews work hard, but, like, how does, like, a whole, like, nest of, like, bees form? Like, how does no one see that? Which I just, when I saw that, I'm like, bee delay? Like, what the heck? Like, imagine if this happened. Imagine if this happened in New York, right? Someone would have to go to Citi Field or the Bronx. How hard is that to, like, get a beekeeper from the Bronx, right? They're going to have to drive in, get their stuff, go in. That's going to take in and of itself like 2, maybe 3 hours just to get there because it's New York. But this is Arizona, so. But it was funny because the beekeeper went and made a scene like he was like the king. He threw out. I think he threw out the first pitch too, which was pretty funny. I think they're making a Topps card out of him, but which is very fun. I think that's very funny and incredible. But that's my news and notes of the week. Derek, floor is yours. What's your news and notes of the week?
For my news, well, it's more of a note. But per Fangraphs, the Red Sox now have a higher chance of making the playoffs than the Rays and the Blue Jays. The Red Sox postseason, the Red Sox chances to make the postseason per Fangraphs is now at 36.6%, which is up to 22.9% prior to the season. So clearly, this Red Sox team has turned a little bit of the expectation from them. Obviously, 36%. I mean, still not a ton, right? Like, that's still what, 40 something percent? No, 60 something percent. Like, that they're not going to make the playoffs. So, but moving in the right direction. And I think this Red Sox team, obviously, like the Astros still have a higher chance than the Red Sox, and they're 10-20. It's also partially due to track record as well. The Red Sox haven't had the greatest track record in the last 2 years. So, obviously they're not going to swell up to like 50% now or anything, but it's interesting to see because the Rays prior to the season were at like 60% to make the playoffs, and now they're down in the 20s.
I also have an extra news and note of the week when you're ready. Want to hear it?
Yeah.
So let me get up his stats real quick. So Jose Abreu, he is really bad. He's producing negative 1.5 WAR, has a batting average not even above, like, his batting average is .099, .99. His on base percentage is 156. His slugging is 113. Good for an OPS of 269. Good for an OPS plus of negative
Nice.
20.
Nice.
Three
Read the OPS
RBIs
again.
in, you know how many games he's played in? 22.
27. Oh.
Not far off. For
What?
a
Can you
guy
read the
who's a
OPS again?
2020, I'm not saying it.
Read it. Read it again.
269.
Nice.
Nice. Only 7 hits in 77 plate appearances. Not great. One of them was an extra base hit. 3 RBIs, which is awful. He is so bad that him and the Astros organization have mutually agreed to option him to West Palm Beach. Just, that's like the lowest you can go. It's what happened to Alek Manoah 2 years ago. Or last season.
Except Manoah didn't have a choice. He had
Except
to go.
Manoah, yeah, exactly. This was mutual, just to quote unquote get his footing down, get his timing back, which is insane because this guy won. He's gotten MVP votes in 2022 and 2021, and he won the MVP in the COVID season and won a Silver Slugger. And he was a former Rookie of the Year. Just something isn't clicking. And oh, by the way, he's making almost $20 million this year. Clearly, something's happening with him, which I just find crazy. It's one thing to like mutually option yourself to AAA like JD Martinez did. It's another thing to like, dude, I'm so bad, just option me. I just need help, which is what the Astros are doing, which is freaking crazy.
Oh no, it makes sense though because they're sending him to West Palm Beach is their spring training facility, so it makes sense. That makes sense though because the FCL season hasn't started yet. It will be starting this by the end of this week. So
Those
there's
are played
that.
at spring training ballparks?
Yes.
Awesome.
That's why it's the Florida Complex League. It's played at the spring training complexes. Stupid name for a league. It used to be
what is
the
Arizona?
Arizona Complex League.
The ASL, okay.
No, ACL.
ACL.
FCL and ACL. It's stupid. You couldn't have made up a better name, but regardless. No, so, like, for reference, that's rookie ball. That's below low A. For reference. Now, if you need someone to just work out kinks and whatnot, and they're really struggling in games, that's where you send them. You don't send them to AAA. You send them there. Right? So, it makes sense. It's just... I don't know if he would play a rehab assignment somewhere, like because I don't really know if you can put him not a rehab assignment. You know what I mean, though, in terms of
I don't know. Move him up. Like, how does that work? Does he still have he obviously still has a 40-man spot, but is it like it's a normal option, right? You get a roster spot back.
He was the option all the way down. So if they promote him, I don't know if he can say no because he was already off. I have no clue.
I don't know how.
I wouldn't be shocked if they sent him to AAA for almost like a rehab assignment. But I would assume they would have to either call him up or there's gotta be something there where they either have to call him up or maybe
normally what it used to be is okay, phantom injury, here you go, and just get your stuff together. Oh, your hamstring's tight, okay, we'll put you on the 10-day, go work on your stuff. That's how it used to be. Now they're apparently they're enforcing it more. I think the Mets got in trouble last year for stuff like that, which is like Billy Epler at his best. But we'll see how that goes. I think we'll check in a couple of episodes to see how that is. Let's go to stats of the week. Derek, I'll start off with you since I went first for news and notes.
All right, so for the stat of the week, since he made his rough MLB debut in Korea, Yoshinobu Yamamoto has thrown 33 innings in 6 starts with a 1.64 ERA, a 30.5% K rate, 5.3% walk rate, and a 2.53 FIP. Think about this now. This isn't even Yamamoto at his best. Has he had a dominant start yet? No,
Huh. No.
no, he's not at his best yet. And in his last 6 starts, he has a 164 ERA, and he's not at his best. What happens when he's at his best? Because right now, for reference, we're seeing Shota Imanaga at his best. He had a run like this last year, where he had like 6 or 7 or whatnot, like straight starts, where he went like 7 innings and didn't give up more than like gave up like no more than 2 runs, and like 7 and he had like a point like 8 ERA and like those however many starts. Yeah, Imanaga's had runs like this before in Japan, right? With Yamamoto, he has never had a run in Japan where he's looked like he has his first 7 MLB starts, and even his 6 if you take out the one in Korea. He hasn't in the last 3 years. He's never had a run like this where he's looked. I say this bad, but he hasn't even been that bad, right?
He hasn't been like insanely good like what
No,
he
he's
was
gotten
paid to
touched
do.
by the home run ball, like which is like 3 homers in
What,
his last 6 starts.
what
Like that's where.
which is something you can kind of like expect in his first year. I think this is like an adjustment year. I don't think
Well,
he can get
yeah,
much worse than he is.
that's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
And here's the thing with Yamamoto. People forget. Oh, he's never thrown a pitch in the big leagues. This is a guy who has won 3 consecutive Triple Crowns in Japan, has been by far the best pitcher in Japan each of the last 3 years, and just had a historically good season in Japan. When people go, oh, well, it's a dead ball. Not that much of a dead ball where he was that good. Like, it's insane how good he was in Japan, and I think people take it for granted because, oh, he's never pitched in the big, or this or that reason, or whatever it is, or he didn't have a good spring training, or oh, now this report he was tipping pitches. Wait till he's not tipping pitches. Wait till he's at his best. Wait till all of his pitchers are working at the same time. Good luck to MLB hitters. Because if this is him not at his best, what does his best look like? Because, like I said, even with the struggles, his last 6 starts, he's got a 164 ERA, and even for the year, it's an under 3 ERA.
Right. If this is his
Like,
floor, like this is insane.
and that's why he just got paid $325 million this offseason. Everyone going, oh, he's never pitched in the big league. That's so much money. There's a reason. The Dodgers aren't stupid. They don't just give out money to nobodies. If there's a team that's going, and we're not going to use the Bauer incident because that's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
That's a totally different.
Apples and oranges right here.
Yes, exactly. They don't just give out money to people who aren't that good. The fact that, and Yamamoto, every big market team pretty much was after him. The Red Sox were after him. The Yankees didn't give out number 18 for an entire season to save it for him. The Yankees don't do that. They don't do that. They're like, that's how much teams are trying to get Yamamoto. They're like, no, we have saved this number for you. Here's number 18. Come and get it and take it. We have it saved.
Except he was
you.
like,
your
nope,
name is
screw you.
Your name is already on the jersey. That's what I'm saying. Though, it's different. This isn't even Daisuke coming over. Like, Daisuke was really good in Japan, but like not at this level. You can make the argument for Yamamoto being the best Japanese pitcher ever in NPB history. No one has had a 3-year stretch in NPB history like he just had. This is when I'll put it like this, actually. I will put it like this. Even if they were to have a WBC now, and even with the healthy Shohei Ohtani and Yu Darvish at his best, Yamamoto's their best starter.
Good point.
And Ohtani's, finished 4th in Cy Young voting in 22?
Something like that?
Yeah. Yeah, finished 4th in Cy Young voting. Yamamoto legitimately has a chance. He's only 25 as well. Wait till he's 27, 28 with 3 years of MLB experience, and he's at his peak. And his peak is going to be long.
And
He
he's
doesn't
young
throw
too?
100. Yeah, he doesn't throw 100. He's not going to run into a gazillion elbow injuries because he throws 100 miles per hour. And that's why I say with like Yamamoto, like if that, like, and we've been kind of saying last like 5 minutes ago, if this is like him not at his best, like, is his best going to be striking out every hitter he faces? No, but like it's literally impossible. But It's scary to think of how good he could be, basically. And there's no pitcher like him. That's the thing. In Major League Baseball, there is not a pitcher like Yamamoto. No pitcher has the curveball he has. No pitcher has the splitter that he has when it's on, right? There might be somewhat similar in terms of splitter, but like in terms of putting the whole package together, there's no one like him. And that's the thing. With Garrett Cole, like no one's like him, but at the same time, you can find guys that throw hard with sliders, with similar
Who
breaking
use
pitches.
sticky stuff? Yeah.
But you get the point.
Yeah, I do.
Though,
Yeah,
like
I
you get the
know.
point. Like you
I
can
get the
find
point.
someone somewhat similar to Garrett Cole, even if they're not as good. It's like similar, somewhat similar, right? There's no real MLB comparison for Yamamoto. There just isn't.
Yeah. So that's Derrek's stat of the week. My stat of the week is much shorter than yours. We're gonna go the players who have grounded into the most double plays this season. The leader in that category, you might ask, Aaron Judge. He leads the league in the most. He's grounded into the most double plays this season. He's grounded into 10. Yes,
What a bum!
10 double plays in 33 games. That's one almost every 3 games, which is not good. But at the same time, it's Aaron Judge, who, by the way, made a start in left field the other day. Just notable, just something to look out for. But the second place is Harper with 7, and then third place there's a tie with a bunch of players at 6. But I don't know. And Judge's line this season, he's only batting 197 with an on base of 331 and OPS of 725. WRC plus of 111, which is okay, but off to a slow start. Something else to note. And he's walked 24 times. So something to note to his slow start. But yeah, I think that's a wrap for me. Derek, anything else to add before we end this episode?
No, I'm all good.
Alrighty, for Derek and for everybody watching or listening to this episode, I'm Jason. Thank you for tuning into the Fenway Focus. We'll see you later this week.